We're back working on the Acura Legend, and you may ask yourself, what's going on here? Well, we've got some in silver, and we got some in gold, and that's certainly not how it came from the factory. What we're doing is we're taking off the gold, and you may say, well, why would you do that? Well, we're working on re-gold leafing all of these letters. So I found a person who's willing to re-gold leaf all of the badging on cars. The catch is you have to take all the gold off for the best results. You can do it with the gold on, but what Acura and Honda did, or I'm assuming what Acura and Honda did, was they put some clear, like acrylic, maybe enamel coating over the gold. So the gold doesn't actually um, necessarily need replacing, but the clear coat over it does. Well, once you get that clear coat off, you inevitably do damage to the gold. So we're going to go ahead and restore the entire badging here by taking off all the gold. We'll get it gold plated, and then we'll reinstall them. How you do it is you take wet sandpaper. This is 600 grit wet sandpaper, found to work the best, and you make sure that you wet this very, very well. I'm using a soap water solution. That way, any particles get caught up in the soap as I'm sanding. But the idea here is that you gently do this so that you're just taking off the gold. Don't go the layer below. And then I'm coming back behind with a Dremel tool and a polisher with an optical compound and basically just mirroring this back out, because any little imperfection that you see here is going to carry over to the gold leafing when we have it redone. So you want to make sure that you have a nice smooth surface that's free of scratching. Now you could take a 600 grit sandpaper and step it down from step it up from 600 to 1500 to 3000, but I want to make sure that I don't go beyond the silver. If you go beyond the silver, it's a lost cause. You can't save it. Once it's down to plastic, there's nothing for the gold to adhere to. It only adheres to the metal portion of this. So be very, very careful if you're going to do this. Take just the gold area off, leaving the silver behind. And with that optical compound, you're really just taking some of the scratches out. You're not going to go beyond that layer if you do it just right. And that's what our intent is. We're going to have this come back as a perfect gold all the way across. And then we'll reapply the badging. All right, so as you can see here, I have the emblems all masked off. And the reason why I'm doing this is that when we go to place the emblems back on after they're gold plated, then we want to put them back in the correct orientation as they were taking off. That way they look as factory as possible. A lot of time, you can tell when a car has been repainted or something has gone on in the rear end of the car because the badges don't align. Now the front or the center emblem has two reference holes that you can see right here. So that's pretty easy. We'll clean that up. We'll also clean up all this after we take them off. But our process is we want to heat this up just enough to loosen the adhesive on the backside, and then we're going to use dental floss and slowly remove this off. Now that we have the emblems off, the task has become how do we get the adhesive off? As you can see here, I've been testing with this A, or what was the A. We've got our taped off reference points so that when we have the emblems back from gold plating, we can reapply them. But the task now is to get all the old adhesive off because we know that the old adhesive will not adhere to the new adhesive in a permanent way, which is what we're looking for. So now the task becomes how do we remove the A here, or the rest of the lettering and the adhesives? So the best way I found is getting a plastic razor blade to get the bulk of it off, but then you're left with residual residue after that. So I found that using an old clay bar, this is what you would use to detail a car in its first stage by lubricating the paint surface, lubricating the clay, and then moving it back and forth, up and down to get all the contaminants out of the paint itself. Additionally, the clay is stronger than the adhesive. So what ends up happening is the adhesive breaks off away from the paint and then gets stuck in your clay. Now, I would only recommend using an old one because this is going to be kind of wasteful if you use a new one. So I always have these laying around from when I'm detailing and claying cars, but for the most part, this is working quite well. You see a little bit of an outline here of the A. I think that'll be fine. We could go through this step of polishing that out, but it's going to get recovered anyway, so what's the point? My whole task here is just really getting that adhesive off and making that surface prepared to accept the new adhesive. So I thought I'd share this tip and trick at this point, and then hopefully we'll get the new emblems here shortly and we'll be able to apply them, and I can show you that process.